Patrick McNeil back here with you on near the campus of Humber College here in the Greater Toronto area. Colonel Samuel Smith Park, joined by Troy Thompson, World Footy. Troy, how excited are you to get behind the mic for a big game this morning?
Very much, Patrick. Great to be here. Beautiful morning here.
Yeah, the weather is heating up, as we mentioned. We have a matchup here between the Calgary Kangaroos, who are in white and blue, and the Hamilton Wildcats. Kangaroos 2-0 heading into this game, and maybe a team that they didn't know as much about in this part of the world, but they learned in a hurry that this Kangaroos team is very, very capable. They're going to be taking on the 0-2 Hamilton Wildcats in this big matchup. Wildcats playing for position. The Kangaroos can punch their ticket to the grand final if they get a victory here, so should be a great contest. And Troy, all the way from Melbourne to commentate these games. It's a long hike to see some footy.
Very long flight yesterday, in late last night, but up and keen early this morning, and away we go.
Away we go indeed. Ball up, and Kangaroos take possession as it's moved through the corridor. Saw them with a very, very impressive performance yesterday as Kangaroos representing all of Alberta at this tournament. Ball in the Kangaroos forward 50, kicked along the ground as it's going to be kicked towards the middle. Opportunity there as it was Vorman trying to get it, but the Wildcats will take possession, try to move through the corridor themselves. Wildcats play in AFL Ontario as we get our first whistle of the game, and we are going to get a free kick to the Kangaroos just outside the forward 50 here. Handball option executed, and it's kicked along, punched along the ground. Holcomb had it for the Kangaroos. Roos kick along the ground. I think that might have been spoiled by a Wildcat player. As ball in the Roos forward 50. Wildcats trying to move it out. But hear the umpire's whistle again. Again, great job by the officiating crew. That is a free kick to Hamilton. Kicked along the left wall, left side of the field, should say, as the Wildcats try to get it out of trouble, so to speak. Ball goes bouncing around as Roos in possession. A couple of nice linked handballs. Didn't see as much of that in the first game. A little bit tricky, I guess, to handball the wet footy. And the ball will find its way out as just getting going here through the first minute. Again, that clock is unofficial, though, Troy.
Yeah, ground's starting to dry out, particularly at that western end, but the eastern end's still quite wet and slippery. So that'll help the Hamilton Wildcats in their defence.
Yeah, players are going to have to get used to those conditions for sure. And again, they were here for 2 games yesterday. All the teams are going to play 2 games today as they have the last of the group stage games, which we're seeing now, and then we'll have the finals games that Dave was talking about earlier. Kick into the forward 50 for the Roos. Attempt to punch the ball out. Didn't go as planned. Roos remain on the attack here. Potential for the game's first score. Handball option out the back. Kick for goal. That looks like it could be good. And it is our first score of the game. It is a goal for the Calgary Kangaroos. That's the start they were looking for. They jump out to a 6-0 lead.
Yeah, good work there by Calgary to bring the ball inboard there from the throw-in. Not heading straight into the forward 50, looking to centre it up so they could centre the ball, get it in long to their forwards. It was high ball, caused the chaos, and really Hamilton failed to pick that off like they should have.
Yeah, so that does give at Calgary the first score of the game, and it is a goal for the Roos. Again, they were 2-0 yesterday. Very impressive day for them coming from out west. And again, they can punch their ticket to the men's grand final, which will take place later today. As ball goes back to center, so we'll see a throw up as the Roos will try to see if they can add to that lead, and the Wildcats will look to strike back. Chris Moaning taking this throw up for the Wildcats, but it is going to be ultimately the Roos that take possession. As ball nicely smothered there by Hamilton. Ball on the ground. Handball out the back. Roos keep possession. Again, a lot of congestion around the ball there. I was trying to make sure we hear the umpire's decision, but that will end up being a free kick for James Clock.
Over the shoulder.
And he'll kick to mark. As ball kicked towards forward 50 for the Roos. Goes bouncing along the ground. As Calgary in possession. It's kicked along the right side. Another use handball option. It'll come, it's going to go offline there, so to speak. And actually, I think we saw a minor score, I believe. Just waiting to see the official decision from the umpire, and it is a behind for Calgary. Sun making things a bit difficult to see down there, Troy.
Yeah, pretty glary, but Had a little bit more time than he thought there. Just tried to squeeze the kick through. Should have just taken a little bit more time. Could have probably centered the ball, but they'll take the minor score.
Yeah, early morning jitters for the Kangaroos, perhaps, but they have established this early 7-0 lead as kick out goes to the Wildcats following the behind. Kicked along the left side, goes bouncing along the ground, and that will be a fortunate bounce for the Roos. They'll have an opportunity in the forward 50 here. We'll get a boundary throw in that will be advantageous position for Calgary. Again, Calgary in white and blue, and Wildcats in black and yellow. Ball goes up, punch forward. Opportunity on the wing here. Looks like a decent kick. Beautiful angle, and that's going to be a beautiful goal. Kick by Calgary. A sharp angle, not deterring the Roos, and I guess don't overcomplicate things. Just you have a chance to kick it, just kick it for goal.
No, great goal from stoppage there from Hyde. Just roved that beautifully. No real breeze, in fact, no breeze at all here to speak of. So there's not really a defensive pocket other than that's probably the wetter pocket. So Hamilton kicking out that side. Got the throw in they wanted, but really well roved there by Calgary.
Yeah, great execution as well, and they've not wasted any time building an early lead here. 2-1-13 for the Roos. No score on the board for the Wildcats. Ball will come back to the middle. I mentioned earlier, Chris Moaning will take the ball up for Hamilton. He has experience playing for the North Wind. Maybe a size advantage here. Tough to see the Calgary player in the ball up, and it is going to be won by Hamilton. They're trying to work through the corridor, but not really able to do anything, winning that opening tap. So Roos take possession. Ball going to be kicked down by Zanuski. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. That's a great name. As ball will come back to the Roos as they work towards the forward 50 on the right side of the field. Kicked along the wing. Nicely marked as that'll be an opportunity centering kick. Ball goes along the ground. And once again, it hits the deck. The ball does. It worked there by Adam McGraw on the ball. And it's going to end up being a free kick to McGraw again. Looks like he's just outside the 50. So here's an opportunity for Adam McGraw. And the Roos going to size this kick up, see what kind of options he has there in the goal square. All the traffic migrating there, as you would expect. McGraw is looking at the angle, probably can see a little bit better than we can over here. It looks pretty good. And that is going to go through clear and easy. Nice goal kick there for McGraw. And the Roos are off to a flying start here, Troy.
Yeah, big danger signs for Hamilton here. The big forwards, when they're getting the ball, that's when you're in real trouble. So early on, you've had the likes of Finch and Zanuski coming out of the middle, getting down support, providing plenty of numbers around the contest. And that's where those first couple of goals come from. Now you're seeing their big men come into play.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Calgary just showing advantage on all sides of the ball right now as it'll come back to center for the restart of the game as Calgary up 19-0 again. Calgary, if they win, go on to the grand final. A loss here would send Hamilton into the 7th place game, which they would play Grand River. Of course, Hamilton and Grand River are two of the non-Toronto teams in AFL Ontario. Moaning wins the tap, but again, the numbers there are for the Kangaroos. It was Kevin Werner, who hails from Adelaide, with the ball. Working it down the right side. Ball kicked into the forward 50. Marking contest there. Somebody just hit the deck for Hamilton, and they are able to get the ball out of trouble, so to speak, along the left side of the field. And again, clean mark's tough to come by, but Borslus, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, with the ball for Hamilton. Kicks it down the wing, and now we're finally seeing a little bit of good ball movement here from the Wildcats. It's tough to do against a strong Roos team as Yamada will kick it into the forward 50. Hands are up. Tough to mark, though. As ball on the ground again. Hamilton in possession, at least briefly. Kick along the ground. Ball will come squirting outside of that forward 50 towards the middle of the ground. As Wildcats in possession. Handball out the back. Tough to pick up the ball, though. Again, I know we've said that a lot, but definitely the case the way the weather is today. As Roos now with an opportunity to move it through the corridor. Switch to the left side of the field. Ball will come bouncing through the hands. It almost looked like Holcomb was trying to handball the ball before he had it. But Roos get it back, though. That's a nice mark and play on. Smart decision to play on. Looks for a kick for goal from quite a distance. Or actually, looked like he was trying to find McGraw. Almost worked to execution, but instead the ball will go through here as we will get 1 point on the board for Calgary.
Yeah, great movement laterally again by the Roos, just switching it across the ground. Then that opened it back up in the middle for them to move it back into the centre forward position.
Yeah, a lot of veteran experience on this Calgary team. They actually have 3 players born in the 70s, but I'll tell you, smart legs on some of these guys. As Roos back in possession again. Handball option executed nicely to Maroney. Ball kicked into deep part of the forward 50, will go dribbling through, and that will go through for a behind. It looks like that hit the post, so that's just a 1 point on the board for Calgary. But again, just territorially, Calgary's all over Hamilton.
Yeah, great work in defence by the goalpost pad there.
Well, sometimes that can be your best defender, and you certainly will not complain if it comes through with a timely contribution, as was the case there for the Wildcats as they move the ball up. Jordan Garwood marks it. He assesses his options here in the middle of the field. He'll take a couple of steps, plays on, kicks through the corridor. Ball will come up, and it will come into Roos' hands again. The Roos just not giving the Wildcats a lot of options here. Switch of the field to the left side. Not cleanly marked, but no matter. No opposition there as Holcomb will go chasing after it. Has a nice handball option. With a little bit of pressure there, was still able to execute. Again, now the Wildcats getting numbers to the ball. As contest along the ground. And that will end up in the hands of the Wildcats. They'll have an opportunity to kick out of the Roos forward 50. Handball option to the right. Little soul candy there. Kick towards the middle. Ball comes up. No clean mark. It'll come back to Roos player. And it is going to be Hamilton ball here. As the Wildcats will have an opportunity. A little bit better from Hamilton in the last little sequence there. Ball kicked towards forward 50. Oh, an attempt to cleanly mark. Tough to handle the ball there, though, as Yamada couldn't quite get his hands gripped on it. Again, tough to pick up the wet footing on a day like today, even if it is sunny outside because of the dewy conditions. Here's an opportunity into the forward 50 for the Wildcats. Looked like that might have been an attempt to note the ball handball, but it is going to be the Roos picking it up. Again, tough to gain any sustained possession here as the conditions playing havoc, but a little bit better from the Hamilton the last minute or so, I think.
Yeah, it's been really good to see Yamada giving him a good option leading out of there a couple of times so far this quarter, really giving him a way to transition the ball. Unfortunately, Calgary's halfbacks then have taken over.
Yeah, Calgary with a lot of talent throughout the field. We've been talking about them using options when they're marching up the offense. We're seeing defense on showcase here the last minute or so as well. Kick through the corridor, has an opportunity to mark it as Holcomb. He's seen a lot of the ball here in the early goings. Played for 35 years. Veteran player for sure. Has played since he was 9 years old. Tap of the ball as the Roos looking to push forward. Looks like that's Paul Barron with it. Comes back, runs it back. That's an option you can use. Kicks it to the right side of the field. Not really much there, although as I say that, McGraw appears, and he does so, but the ball will squirt out. Again, Roos 3-3-21, no score for the Wildcats. Roos in white and blue, Wildcats in black and gold.
Yeah, just looking to optimise that space out in front of them there, but couldn't quite get to the ball in time.
So, boundary throw in towards the Roos forward 50. Moaning at his hands up, but it is going to be Roo possession again, and the ball will go out just as quickly as it came in. So, varying weather conditions here in Toronto, the greater Toronto area, I should say. The fog lifting at least, so that's beneficial for players and umpires alike. Boundary throw in here in the forward 50 for the Roos. As ball will not be cleanly picked up off that boundary throw in, and it's going to be a Roos free kick. Big opportunity here. Similar angle to where we saw one of the goals scored earlier. As kick into the pocket. As McGraw's after it, calling his name a lot. Kick through, and that is going to be just a behind for Calgary.
Yeah, unfortunately that kick just falling short. Really need to be able to hit up that target, give them a chance to hit the ball in the full.
So, kick out for the Wildcats. Ball goes up the field, but quickly intercepted as back in as quickly as it came out. Kick for goal. Ball's along the ground, and it's just going to be knocked through. A conceded behind there for the Wildcats. So, no harm, no foul there. So, another minor point scored by the Roos, but Hamilton going to have to try to find their footing. Still lots of time left, though. 23-0. We're just getting going here. Kick out from goal square for the Wildcats along the left side of the field. Just going to patiently assess the options here from the defensive end. Kick to a contest. That's going to be won by the Roos. Good handball option executed there. And it is going to actually be turned over back to Hamilton. So Hamilton looking to create something here. Free kick from their defensive 50. Boot it on the left side. Ball goes bouncing along the ground. Just not able to get those clean marks. Again, that's tough to do against a strong team like Calgary. Nice handball option on the run on the right side. Kick down the right wing, and it goes bouncing and trying to mark that there. That might have been O'Kane as the ball's bouncing along the ground. Quickly running up the right side. Center and kick to goal square. Oh, a nice attempt to mark that by McGraw's. Ball's just bouncing along the ground. And it's going to be picked up by Hamilton hands. Kick through the middle. Is there a marking target? Yes, and actually a beautifully executed mark. And going on the run, play on, smart move. Wildcats with some momentum here. Ball will go kicked into the Hamilton forward 50. Haven't seen a lot of that thus far. Nice kick for goal, and that's going to go bouncing as that was Visser that had an opportunity to kick for goal for Hamilton, but Roos will take possession. Oh, I don't think he got what he wanted off that kick. Was trying to kick along the wing, went more to the center, but might end up in Roos' hands anyway as Barron picks it up for the Roos. Ball's bouncing along the ground. Kick along the left side of the field. Right in front of our broadcast location. Very convenient for us as Finch will pick it up. It's another Victorian on this Roos side. Nice handball over the top. Finds a nice option there in Werner. Kicks it into the forward 50. Almost punched out. Ball will go dribbling now. Ball on the ground, and that is going to go over for a behind for Calgary.
Yeah, I've liked the way Calgary have been looking for that kick, sort of that 20, 25 metres out from goal, instead of going for that shot and getting the easy behind, which is not very much use to them. They've been working that well the last couple of times. Hasn't quite come off, but when it's dry next quarter, look out for that.
Yeah, and you talk about that. You can see just now the ball bouncing along the ground. You can really see when the ball bounces, the water's just coming off of it with great degree. There might have been some concern there with the Hamilton player going down, but no, he's going to be okay and take this free kick, so that's very good news. I'll try to keep it along the right side, and it is going to be not marked by Moaning. Great job there by Holcomb to get into the play. But it is going to end up being paid for Hamilton. I think there might have been early contact there. No, pardon me, it's going to be a boundary throw-in. Ball thrown into the field as the Roos try to go after it again. You're just seeing the water just bouncing up as the conditions get a little drier. Going to be ball given to the Kangaroos player, Kevin Werner, 20-year-old from Adelaide. Short kick, didn't go as planned into the forward 50. Moaning's in the contest there for the Wildcats. As things started to heat up here, it's going to be a warm day here in Toronto, the greater Toronto area, I should say. Here is ball thrown up in the forward 50 for the Roos. Tapped. Hamilton in possession only briefly. Ball handballed along. Roos trying to create something, going to be cleared out of trouble here by Batchelor. And on the right side, looking for a marking target. Didn't quite go as planned. And on the run and taken down quickly there was Cam Cochran. Maybe a free kick for the Roos. O'Kane will kick it. Nice option. Finds Finch, who's been very good in the early part of this game. Ball bouncing around. Sometimes the only play is really to just tap it when the ball is as wet as it is. As Hyde had it briefly there for the Roos. Nice bump there as the Wildcats a little bit more aggressive, trying to switch the field. No clean mark to be had there. Contest in the middle of the ground.
Throw.
And punch back. It'll come back to the Roos. As a lot of congestion there. It'll come out to O'Kane. O'Kane kicks it forward, and that's a nice mark by Philip Finch. Finch towards forward 50 for the Roos, and another nice mark hauled in there. Here's an opportunity from outside the forward 50. It could be a long kick, but could be a good one for Calgary here.
Yeah, you got to be really happy with how Calgary's setting up across their defensive, across the center of the ground and not letting Hamilton get out.
Long kick. Not quite punched through, and now it looks like it's going to go through, and it will go through for 1 point for Calgary. So at least the last few minutes we've seen Hamilton's been able to prevent them from getting that major score.
Yeah, they've really shut them down, stopped them getting that major score, and starting to get something out of themselves, taking their time, trying to find that option to get out.
Now moving through the corridor, right up the middle. Nice clean. Oh, almost looked like it was going to be a clean mark. Maybe a bit of a bad break there, but Yamada's able to pick the ball up anyway, even after he wasn't able to mark it. Here's a potential opportunity. Ball will go through. Oh, it's still live. And trying to find his footing was Visser. And just again, we can't really stress enough the conditions. As I looked, at first it looked like it was going to be a bad break, that it was going to go through fur behind, and then he had the opportunity to perhaps get it, but he wasn't really able to establish footing, and now the ball will be just thrown up by the umpire there behind the line.
I think he imagined himself turning back very sharply and kicking the goal, but unfortunately didn't come off.
Yeah, and you know what? That might have been one of those things where he was visualizing it so far in his head. He was planning ahead, and that's, that happens in all sports, really. Ball up out in front of the goalposts that the Wildcats are kicking toward. Haven't seen a ton of play in that end. Calgary's been putting on a clinic here in this first part of the game as the ball will go bouncing. And again, tough for any of the players to pick it up. And the umpires have been very busy throwing the balls in that scenario thus far.
Absolutely. Been loving the work of Yamada running out there for Hamilton. He's really giving him something to kick to and causing them some good opportunities to transition.
Yeah, and even the umpires, I think, are having a little bit of trouble with this wet ball. So we appreciate the work they're doing there for sure. It'll be thrown in on the boundary. Forward 50 opportunity for Hamilton. Let's see if they can make something happen here. So ball thrown up. Nice handball option executed there. Pushed over the top there by Cochran. And the ball will go dribbling out again. And they will say it goes in. And it's not going to matter anyway as we reach quarter time. And, Troy, a very strong half for the Calgary Kangaroos, for sure.
Absolutely. So probably the only place they haven't dominated is in the ruck, where Moaning sort of dominated those centre bounces. But they've been winning all the clearances, Calgary, getting the ball forward, all their midfielders pushing through in numbers and making sure they got those early goals. And then late in the quarter, every time Hamilton tried to transition out of their back line, they were kicking into a sea of blue and white jumpers. So, there might be 1 against 5. Now, a couple of times Hamilton did win the ball there. That was from good kicks, positioning the ball well. But from there, they kind of had nothing. So Yamada, as I said, was providing options. He was leading up, and they did get it to him a few times. But then, unfortunately, they had nothing left in their forward 50 they could kick to. So they did get the ball inside their 50 probably 3 or 4 times, but really were unable to make the most of that.
Yeah, well said. Positives for them to try to work on, and it's still a scoreline, not out of control by any means. It is Kangaroos 3-7-25. No score for the Wildcats at halftime. Patrick McNeil, Troy Thompson coming at you live from the neighboring part of the campus of Humber College here, Colonel Samuel Smith Park in Etobicoke, Ontario.
Google Forms now accepts payments. The Payable Forms add-on allows for seamless integration of a digital checkout with your Google Forms. Install the Payable Forms add-on. Link your payment provider. Share and get paid. Your customers can use Apple Pay, Google Pay, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discover, Cash App, Venmo, and more. Save time and hassle by automating your payment process quickly and simply. Payable Forms gets you paid.
Play for fun. Play for fitness. Play for glory. Play for community. Play for club. Play for country. Play for each other. Play because you love playing. Play footy. Visit AFLCanada.com and find a club near you today.
Patrick McNeil back here with you on near the campus of Humber College, Colonel Samuel Smith Park in Greater Toronto, Ontario, joined by Troy Thompson. It is their second match of the day, 2-0 Calgary Kangaroos taking on the Hamilton Wildcats, who are 0-2. I want to remind you that Tribal Sport is the official tournament partner of the 2025 Men's Club Championships. With more than 20 years of experience and a deep understanding of the international footy market, Tribal Sport is your source for high-quality on- and off-field apparel, easy for me to say. Visit tribalsport.com to order your club's merchandise today. And Troy, as we were saying before break, a very impressive first half of footy from the Calgary Kangaroos.
Yeah, continuing on from where they left off yesterday, dominated both their games yesterday and looking like they're going to have a very big second half in the dry half of the ground.
Yeah, that's a good point, too. They might have been fighting against the conditions, but we're still able to push the ball into that forward 50 quite a bit, and might be a bit more advantageous. Of course, both teams get an opportunity, 2 20-minute halves, and as we said, a lot of these teams, Hamilton plays in the AFL Ontario competition. They're used to the 4 20-minute quarters, but because of the schedule here, you want to give as many games as possible, as many opponents as possible, a little bit more urgency with these 2 20-minute halves.
Yeah, and don't underestimate 2 days of footy. They're not used to doing that, whereas Calgary played a lot of tournament footy over the years, particularly down at the US AFL Nationals, and really are right across tournament play footy. So 2 days, they set themselves up well for that. Hamilton very rarely have had to do that before.
Yeah, that's certainly a good point, and it is a different type of conditioning. You're playing in the morning right after you were playing all day yesterday, so it definitely can take a toll on the body for sure, but we look forward to the second half. Again, the Roos are in white and blue, Hamilton in black and yellow. Also want to shout out our official streaming partner of the 2025 Men's Club Championships, Payable Apps. Simplify all the effort involved with accepting, collecting, and reporting electronic payments with Payable Apps. Visit payableapps.com to automate your payments today. What are you looking for, I guess, from Hamilton in this first half after what was a tough first half for them?
Well, as I said, Manning's been winning the ruck, right? So I would love to see him get a centre clearance out of here and give themselves a good shot at a goal first up when they've got numbers in their forward half. Most of that quarter, they're having to push back because Calgary is so dominant. But early in the quarter, this is their real opportunity when they've got all their forwards in their forward line to win a clearance and get a goal. Yeah,
as you mentioned, Moaning has been very good in the ruck, and he's someone who's played for the North Wind, so they know what he's capable of. He's going to be a key player for them and any success they're going to have here, and they would love to get that early score here to really kind of send a message to the Roos and kind of give themselves any chance to try to win this game. Again, if the Wildcats lose, they will go down to the 7th place game. Now, things get a little bit more complicated if they win. We can get into the math later if we need to. But we have the opening bounce for this second half of footy. And again, we talked about the Wildcats doing something off that opening tap, and they do, at least in the short term, contest on the ground. As, again, a reminder that clock is unofficial as we're just getting going here. But we'll get another ball up just about 15 or so seconds into the half. Ball punched there by Moaning as it'll be kicked through the corridor, and it's going to be intercepted nicely there by Harrison Hyde, youngster 23-year-old on this Roos team. Hyde will boot it along the left side of the field and thought that might be cleanly marked. It was not. Nice tap there by Wildcats, but didn't find friendly hands there. As tackle, ball's just kind of in dispute there and nothing doing there. I think that's going to end up in the umpire's hands as we should get a ball up. Again, just getting going here in the second half. Beautiful day here in the greater Toronto area at Colonel Samuel Smith Park. Lovely park it is, and field is nicely brushed up here for this, second day. I wasn't here. Troy and I were not here yesterday, but we're coming in off the bench for the second day of footy. So free kick for the Wildcats. It'll be kicked along the right side, goes up in the air. Where is it going to go? Hands are up everywhere. It's going to end up in Roos' hands. Handball option along the left side of the field. Kick goes way sky high, higher than long, but it'll be long enough for a mark, but it's going to be an intercept mark, and that is going to be hauled in by Martin Brown of the Hamilton Wildcats. Kicks it along the right side, and another mark. I haven't seen a lot of marks in succession for the Wildcats. Liam Batchelor is going to be able to pull that in, and this is what we need to see from the Wildcats, Troy.
Yeah, good to see him linking up. Really nice hit there from Brown.
Yeah, and another mark to Moaning, and he'll back up again. Just these short kicks, but they can be effective moving the ball along the field. As Moaning is assessing his options, what is he going to do? He's going to probably try to keep it along the right side of the field. That's exactly what he's going to do. Good height to that kick. Not marked. It went off hands, and that should be a ball up. I don't think there was much in the way of prior there. So was looking for the mark. It didn't hit the intended target right away, but at least gives a 50-50 chance closer to the end of the field that they want to be in. So that's certainly progress for the Wildcats. Good start to the second half for them. Ball fisted by both teams, and it'll come back now along the wing as the Roos try to move it along the left side of the field. Ball goes bouncing up as Moaning was after it, couldn't get to it. Nice handball option on the right side there for Calgary. Kick towards the forward 50. Hands are up for the contest as Macon was trying to mark that ball. Ball dribbling along the ground. Who wants it? It's going to come to Hamilton hands originally, but the umpire will determine it as a Hamilton free kick. Clear marking target on the left side as not so clear after all. Nice spoil there. Now the ball finds itself in dispute on the ground. Who wants it? Calgary again in white and blue. Was hitting the deck was O'Kane as O'Kane tries to get after it again. And it's going to be a Calgary free kick. Play on. O'Kane kicks it along the right side. And it's punched out of the ground. Punched to the ground, I should say, as Wildcats in possession as, again, it was Brown with it. Brown looking for a handball option, nothing doing there. Again, the Roos just getting numbers at the contest. Tough to make clean possessions here. And that's umpire says that's my ball. So we'll get a ball up. So ball up just in the forward 50 there for the Roos, or just outside the forward 50 as the ball goes bouncing along the ground. Digging in for it was Goulet of the Roos. And a bit of a choppy start to this second half. So we are going to get a ball up, it looks like, here, as we're just getting going about 3.5 minutes into this second half. Roos in control of the game, but pretty even thus far in the early part of the second half. Moaning in the ruck for Hamilton. He's been good there, but the Roos take possessions, move forward the handball there. And they're never happy with the official decision, are they, Troy?
No, I'm very lucky not to give away the 50 there, to be honest. He did take it away well after the decision. Oh.
It is going to be a free kick for Batchelor. He'll kick it into the middle of the field, but it's turned over to the Roos. And haven't seen a lot of bounce of the ball, but we see a first one there and another one. Hey, why not? If you've got the room to do it, kick to the forward 50. And it's going to be marked there by Hamilton's Aiden Scott on the intercept. And hadn't seen a lot of that, a player just taking the ball and running with it. But the space opened up, and if you're confident in the bounce, then I'll tell you, the good players make that look easy. I can tell you as a not good player, it's not very easy. Ball bouncing along the right side as the Roos take possession. Handball option to the right side as it's kicked forward for Calgary. Intercepted, and Hamilton a bit more aggressive on the defensive side of the ball, which good to see some pushback from them. Kick along the right side, and that is going to be cleanly marked. Seeing a stronger kicking game here for the Wildcats in this second half thus far. And, oh, no, that was an attempted mark. Not quite. Ball now on the ground. As both teams getting numbers to the ground. Will be picked up there by Finch. Seen a lot of him today for the Roos. As Moaning takes it for Hamilton. He's being forced back, so he'll kick it to the right side. That is going to be intercepted there by Paul Barron. Yeah, and the Roos subsiding the danger there, I guess we could say.
Yeah, Wildcats really just need to look inside then and go lateral because they had nothing forward.
Roos take possession again. It's kicked towards the right side of the field. Not quite to the mark, but finds friendly hands. Handball option on the right side. Calgary kicked down the right side. Going to be just good enough for a mark. That's in dangerous territory. Decides to play on. He might be regretting that, but he does, in fact, kick to Mark. And that was kicked out there by O'Kane. He finds a friendly target in McGraw. Adam McGraw's going to take his time here, slowing the pace down. He's going to take his 30 seconds or so as he looks to kick for goal. As options flood the goal square here. I think this would be a first goal of the second half if he's able to convert this. As McGraw sizes his kick up. And that might go on line. It looks pretty good. And it is indeed a goal. It is going to be in Adam McGraw. And the Calgary Kangaroos with a major goal to start off this second half. They go to 4-7-31. Hamilton is scoreless. And you talked about they had a bit of a drier field to work with, and now they're happy with that.
Yeah, we saw that when Hyde ran through the middle before. Now it's dried up. He's actually able to get those bounces. And he's been playing a great game off half-back, really scything kicks coming out of there. This time, though, we saw Calgary come out to this side of the ground. They've gone on the other side. It hasn't been working for them. This time they found the space out in front of McGrath there, went back and made no mistake.
Yeah, good teams adapt, no doubt about that. And this Roos team has proven to be very strong over the first 2 days. Of course, if you are just tuning in for the Sunday action, Calgary going 2-0 on the opening day, and they're looking to punch their ticket to the first place game here. As Hamilton trying to avoid dropping into the 7th place game. As battle in the Hamilton forward 50. As Roos take possession. It's punched along the left side. As Roos working their way up the field. Kicked along the wing. Looking for a marking option. Ball on the ground. And it's kicked into the forward 50 again. As goes bouncing as Brown will try to pick it up for Hamilton. Called his name a few times today. He's trying to protect the ball before he gets it. Then he punches it out the back. Wildcats trying to hold off this Roos attack here in the Calgary forward 50. Ball kicked out towards the 50-meter arc, and that is going to be nicely marked there by Mark O'Kane. Seen a little bit of him. Sky-high kick, short one, and once again finding Finch. Kicks towards the front of the goal square, and it's going to be nicely marked here by McGraw. Familiar targets we're seeing for the Roos here.
Yeah, and again, that transition, they had no one really in front of them on that other side of the ground, that quick little transition kick, and suddenly it's an easy pass out to McGrath.
Yeah, McGrath looking for what would be his second goal of this early part of the second half. He's going to take his time here. He's got his 30 seconds he can work with. Looks like a clear angle. So he'll give this a boot. Looks good off the boot. That is going to go straight through. That's a no-doubter. That's another goal for Adam McGrath, and the Calgary Kangaroos add to their lead, and they have been very impressive to start the second half.
Yeah, 2 goals out of transition, really. Both times, Hamilton with the ball in their forward half, but the defenders back there able to work the ball out in numbers. Yamada is doing a great job for Hamilton attacking the ball down there, but most times he's 1 against 2 or 3. And then Calgary able to use those numbers, clear the ball, and set something up as they go forward.
Yeah, Calgary just looking like a very well-organized team that's executing extremely well as well. And they win the tap, but it does come to Hamilton hands. Liam Batchelor taking the ground. And that will be the umpire's ball. Wasn't much in the way of prior opportunity there, so the ball will be thrown up. Another ball up here. Tap won by the Roos. They're actually getting better at that, it seems, in the second half. As that taken to the ground was the Calgary player, Marco Kane. And I don't think he did have a little bit of time, I guess, so that will be Hamilton ball as Liam Batchelor will take it. Batchelor kicks it through the middle. Does he have a target? Looked like he was aiming for Smith. Didn't go as planned. Roos take possession as battle along the ground. Wildcats now using the handball option. Didn't go as intended. Ball on the ground, and you hear the umpire's whistle go.
Didn't go as intended there, but good to see them getting the numbers around the ball and not creating an opportunity on the outside. Now they've got a chance to take the ball inside 50 again.
Yeah, and that's what they've needed to do, and we haven't seen a ton of that from them, but here's an opportunity. Again, Calgary, such a well-organized machine, but nice couple of kicks there in sequence for Hamilton along the right boundary. Kick towards goal square, and he was looking for the target. Finnerty couldn't quite mark that. It'll end up in possession of Calgary. Trying to kick out of the defensive 50 are the Roos, and the ball goes bouncing along the ground, kicked along, soccered along the ground, we can say, as all of a sudden we see some space opening up, which we don't always see. Short kick, and it'll be bobbled there by Brzezinski. Ball on the ground as comes onto the hands of Clock. Don't know if James Clock is still putting the gummy worms in his sock, which he was famous for years ago. Ball punched out of Hamilton hands as it was on Brzezinski's, and it'll end up into the hands of the Hamilton Wildcats player, Brzezinski. I apologize. I'm probably not saying that correctly. Kick along the boundary, and the Wildcats will keep possession. It's kick towards the center of the field. Ball taking some unusual bounces. I can tell you a footy is unpredictable at the best of times, let alone when the ground is a little bit wet or dewy, as David was saying earlier. Ball kicked towards the Roos at forward 50. As ball in dispute, bouncing around on the field. And you hear the umpire's whistle go again as we are past the halfway mark here of this first half. And that is going to be intercepted, and that is going to be picked up there by Batchelor. Active for Hamilton for sure. Switches to the left side of the field, and it'll be hauled in by Martin Brown. Brown decides to take a few steps, plays on, kicks along the left side. Thought he had something. I think he does. That's a nice mark. It's hauled in there by Yamada, which Roy mentioned has been doing good work in this game. Kick to the goal square. Not a lot of options there, though, for Hamilton. It'll be Calgary intercepting and then giving it back just as quickly as the ball will go out into the boundary.
Yeah, it would have been good to see Hamilton go laterally there and just pick out the player in space rather than kick it to the Calgary defenders who were just waiting back there to snap that up.
Yeah, Calgary strong at every position as we get a boundary throw in here right in front of our broadcast location. And it'll be ball thrown towards Hamilton hands. Ball on the ground. It's kicked along the right side towards the Roos forward 50. And it goes to Tykerobe for the Roos. Tykerobe centering kick towards the goal square. Hands are up for both teams. Ball will just squirt. Thought it might go through for behind. It did not. Roos allowed to keep the pressure on. That looks like a good kick. Might be just a bit offline. And actually, that's not going to be good for anything, as it turns out. As the Roos still, though, have to be very happy with how they've attacked it thus far with a 37-0 lead. As the Hamilton kick. Kick to the left side. That's going to be marked by Brown. Brown now along the left side again. Familiar targets. Liam Batchelor's had a lot of the ball in the defensive 54, Hamilton. Looks to see what he's got here. He's going to take his time. He has a little bit of time, and he's trying to find something. He'll kick it more towards the corridor, and it's no, thought that might be marked there by Smith, but no such luck for Hamilton. His ball now on the ground. Roos looking to go to the attack again. No one able to pick it up just yet. And the umpire. You can hear all the players shouting, as that's always a fun part of the game, and that'll end up being in Roos' hands. Voice communication such a big part of footy. Nice mark. As Calgary doing a good job moving the ball up the middle of the field, as that was Tykerobe with a nice mark, but it ends up being kicked to Hamilton hands. No clean mark there, so ball goes on the ground. Seeing a little bit of that here in the second half. Roos get it back in. Roos in white and blue, Hamilton in black. Ball goes out the back on the handball option. That's going to be booted by O'Kane. O'Kane into the Hamilton forward 50. There was a big, big hit, and Wildcats will take possession. Ball kicked along the right side. O'Kane, though, will snag it. What a nice mark there by Mark O'Kane. O'Kane has the ball. He'll center it. And so I should say O'Kane and Maroney working together, I believe. Ball kicked out towards the forward 50. And again, good movement there by Calgary.
Yeah, you just saw Macon go down there on the ground before, but he's back up and okay now and take the kick now.
Oh, that's what we like to see for sure. Into the forward 50 it goes, and that is going to be a prime goal kicking opportunity here for the Roos. As again, they lead 37-0. It is going to be Tom Tykerobe, who celebrated a birthday yesterday. So happy belated birthday to Tom, turned 35, and he's going to try to celebrate that a little bit more with a big kick for goal here. Not going to go quite as planned, and that's going to go out as the Roos is still obviously with a healthy lead at this point of the game. Again, they will move on to the final if they hold on for a victory here. The first place game, championship game against the winner of the other pool. And again, the Wildcats know that if they lose this game, they will go on to play Grand Rivers. A boundary throw in there out in front of the sticks, as will be picked up by Hamilton's Ryan Creighton. Kicked along the left side. No mark to be had there. Roos in possession. Punched along the right side. Good contest here along the ground. As that might have been a throw, but the ball is punched out. As go forward the Roos do. Kicked along the right side. Goes bouncing. Bouncing is not able to reel in the ball. The ball will end up squirting out there. And the umpire will do another boundary throw in. Is a bit of I don't want to say sloppy, a bit of a disjointed sequence there, I guess we can call it. And boundary throwing in prime opportunity for the Roos, should they be able to get a tap here. Ball goes on the ground. Hamilton will have the opportunity to clear it out. Batchelor will go for a little bit of a run there. Kick through the corridor as all of a sudden Calgary players appearing out of nowhere. Handball option executed to Clock. Clock blowing a tire there. James Clock, not just a footy player, it is some soccer coaching as well. As Hamilton moving it through the middle of the field. Ball kicked out forward, short kick, but it'll be effective. Just long enough as intended as it comes onto the hands of Cam Cochran. Cochran will kick it into the forward 50. Ball goes bouncing along the ground. Hamilton still looking for the first points of the game. It'll come on to Michael. Michael has the ball on the right side of the field. Thought, didn't know he had enough space, but he did as the Roos moving along. Goes for a little run. Kicked up the right side as ball goes bouncing. No one able to haul it in. As battle along the ground for the ball. Good handball option executed there by Calgary. Kick towards the goal square. Not quite the goal square. Nobody there. That's going to be intercepted by Hamilton. Kick through the middle. Batchelor has it again. He's had the ball a number of times for Hamilton. Perhaps one of the key guys in the back for the Hamilton Wildcats today.
Yeah, him and Brown have been doing really well intercepting and moving the ball out. This is where they need to get it sorted, though. Out on the wing, they need to find an option marking up forward.
Now, in this particular case, Moaning is the option. As he'll look to see what he has. As he'll boot it through the middle. Hands are up for both teams. It'll be hauled in by Hamilton. There's a kick towards forward 50. Wildcats might have something on here. Ball goes bouncing around. It's on the ground. And again, we'll hear the umpire whistle. Incorrect disposal is the call.
Yamada down. He could have got the free kick there, I thought, but play went on. But Hamilton have got the kick now and a chance at goal.
Yeah, it's Ryan Creighton, as Troy had mentioned, Yamada going to ground. Hopefully he's going to be okay, as he's had a pretty good game for the Wildcats there. So Ryan Creighton has an opportunity to put Hamilton on the board. Good angle for this goal, I would think. Looks okay. No, it looks like that might go offline. And that's he didn't want the Hamilton player. I think he was instinctively trying to kick it through, and then he realized, well, I don't want it behind. I want to get a goal, but it's going to be cleared into trouble there for the Roos. And Paul Barron's got his hands on it. Nice handball option executed. Beautiful smother, but it comes right back to Calgary hands. Kicked along the right side. Nice hand tap intended there. Didn't go quite as planned. Hamilton with the ball in possession. Both teams are working on trying to get sustained possession here. Brown had it briefly. Now the Roos take it. It's going to be kicked down by Finch. Finch towards forward 50. Tap forward as the Roos on attack. Ball soccered forward as Calgary marching forward closer to the goal. There's an opportunity. Ball's on the ground, and that's going to be booted through by McGraw. That's going to be his third goal of the half.
Yeah, it's amazing. The defenders there of Calgary just didn't want to give up that behind, didn't want to give up any score. Got the transition going, really important. Shepherd out here on the wing by Sinowitz. And they get the ball in with numbers in their forward line and manage to scoot one through.
Yeah, sometimes you might, I think teams want to concede it behind, but in this case, they really wanted to keep that goose egg, I think. So Calgary up 43-0 on the Wildcats. This Kookaburras team has just been so impressive these couple of days here. We are coming to you from Colonel Samuel Smith Park in Toronto, the greater Toronto area. I want to thank Hemingway's Restaurant and Bar, the official after-party partner of the 2025 Men's Club Championships. Famous for their rooftop patio right in the heart of Yorkville, Hemingway's Restaurant and Bar offers delicious pub food and international sports like Aussie Rules football. And you can visit Hemingway's to book your reservation. Ball goes dribbling into the forward 50 for the Wildcats. Here's an opportunity. No clear kick there. Hamilton could be primed for their first points of the game. And again, we're talking with the Roos. They don't want to concede anything. They want to keep that 0 on the board. Well, handballed on the right side, and they're going to succeed in doing so. The Calgary Kangaroos conclude a perfect 3-0 round robin. And Troy, what can you say? We've been throwing out the superlatives, but well-deserved for the Roos based on their performance.
Yeah, really impressive, particularly in midfield, but all around the ground. I really love that game of Hyatt off half-back. And when they got the ball forward, they had many options and got the job done.
Yeah, no doubt about it. More of the same for them after their 2-0 showing in day one. They are through to the men's grand final. Hamilton will play Grand River in the 7th place game. Of course, we're going to have all those great games for you and more. Still lots of footy to come here from Colonel Samuel Smith Park of the Greater Toronto area. You are watching live via AFL Canada on YouTube.